Hello. Happy Monday. I hope that you are having a fabulous day. I am getting ready for the day. We're not actually doing much today, but I really want to get back to doing more lives and just having like random chats. Like, I think having a plan when you go live is fun too, but also just like, let's jump on and let's chat about life, about business, about content, about all of the things. There was two things that I kind of wanted to chat about today that were coming up. I was just having a discussion about this because I posted it on Facebook and I'm going to make a post about it on Instagram. But the post that I made was, if you are not repelling people from you, you are not attracting people to you. And with your content, because if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. And I was having a conversation with somebody in the comment section of that. And I was like, this is a perfect like teaching moment. So she was like, I totally believe in this, but I don't set an intention with my content to repel people. Am I still repelling people? And I was like, absolutely. Because I don't fully believe that your intention should be to repel people. Like, I feel like that kind of comes off a little like prove it, that comes off a little negative, but your intention should be to attract people. It shouldn't be to people please, because when we start people pleasing, that's when we get into a space of we're trying to talk to everybody and we're trying to make everybody happy and we don't want to ruffle any feathers. And so what happens is our message kind of just falls flat and it doesn't reach the people that we really want to reach. I heard this last year, I can't remember when I heard it, but one of the things that really helped me to focus on attracting people and also getting my message across without trying to like offend people or prove people wrong, or even when you're using polarity in your messaging and your content, it can come off as like prove it, and the energy can come off really like it could be really draining to constantly be trying to prove yourself or constantly be trying to take somebody else down, right? Or like constantly be bashing somebody in your industry or like a modality or something like that. So when you're creating content, or even when you're creating like content that is like polarity content, you want to be pro chocolate instead of anti vanilla. So your intention behind your content is always important. And so I don't think that having the intention of repelling people is necessary. I think having the intention of helping the people that you want to help is important, and not being afraid of saying the things that you want to say because it's going to repel some people, because when you are repelling people, you are attracting people. But it doesn't have to be something where you're like, I need to get online and I need to repel people from me. Like, that's naturally going to happen as long as you're not people pleasing. So I don't think that it's an intention that you need to have, but the reason I share it is because a lot of people are afraid of repelling people. A lot of people are afraid of haters and trolls and all of the things. And I actually have a TikTok or a post too. I'll probably make all the things because I'm all about repurposing content. That talks about how for a good, like, I don't even know the number of years now, but it was like a good 3 or 4 or even 5 years. I had a hate group of people that anytime I would post anything online, they had a community page where they would go and they would make a similar post and like talk shit about me. And for a long time, it really affected me. Like, I'm not going to lie, like it affected my day-to-day life. I would let it get to me, all of these things. However, what I found was I actually grew my platforms, I grew my audience, I grew my community, and I grew my income when those people were talking about me. One time I actually calculated, and I have no way of actually calculating the exact amount of people that came from them. But every time they would talk about me, I would make money in some sort of way. Somebody would see their post, they would come to me, they would sign up for one of my programs. And I know that I made at least $10,000 off of those women talking about me. But at the time I couldn't really focus on like, okay, this is what's happening, right? It was really, really frustrating. So now I see that it's okay. Like, if people want to talk about me and they want to talk shit about me, like go for it, do it. Like, clearly I'm repelling you so that I can attract the right people to me. And the more that my name is in somebody's mouth, the more people are going to find me, whether it be like negative or positive, right? I know that might be controversial and people say like, you know, all publicity is good publicity. I saw this TikTok the other day and it was talking about like something that I don't align with anymore, but like how, don't be ashamed of the things that you did when you were drunk. And that people are talking about you because people pay publicists to talk about themselves. And it's kind of funny, like if you could relate that to maybe like take out the drunk part because I just don't align with that anymore. But if you think about it, like haters are publicists for you. They do the work for you, right? And remember, like the only people that can truly cancel you is you. So I don't know. That's just my little take on repelling people from you and changing your mindset around that. I don't think, again, that it needs to be an intention like, oh, I'm going to create content so that I can repel people from me. But definitely have the intention of attracting the people that you actually want to help from you. And it's the same thing like with an intention of creating content. I think I already said this a little while ago, but like, when you're creating content, like, are you creating content because you know that somebody's going to read it, but that somebody is that somebody that you like? It's not somebody that's actually going to buy from you. It's not somebody you actually want to help. You just like want to create that content so they see it and they can like feel a certain way or whatever. We all do it. And I still do it from time to time. I'm not going to lie. However, I know that that kind of intention behind my content is not really going to attract the right people to me. So instead, I try to focus on the type of content that is going to attract the people that I want to attract to me. And if in the process it repels the wrong people away from me, then I'm doing the right job. So that was a little bit of what was on my mind today. Also, I have been having a lot of fun over on TikTok creating lifestyle content. And I always said that I wouldn't be the person who would have like 2 different accounts on any social media platform. Like I was very anti-niche for a really long time. But really it wasn't even about being niched. And my beliefs around niching are always growing. They're always evolving. And I still 100% believe in growing a personal brand. And if you follow me for the past couple months, you've heard me talk a lot about the 80-20 rule, right? About how 80% of your content should be speaking about what you do, who you help, how you help them, creating brand awareness, creating authority awareness, and, the other 20% could be like, what do you want to connect with people on, right? And I feel like I do a really good job of that on Instagram and on Facebook, and I've done a really good job of that since 2011. Even when I was anti-niche, I still had a niche. Like, I love when people say that, like, I'm anti-niche. I'm like, well, that's your niche. But anyways, I digress. On TikTok, though, what I found was they like you to micro your content down. They like you to get specific, and it's about niching. It's really about getting specific with what it is that you want people to notice you for. And for so long, when I first grew my TikTok, I grew it by sharing my sober curious journey, and I shared it for like almost a year. So a lot of people that were following me were really wanting to see that sober curious content. And when I kind of decided that I was like done talking about it and I really wanted to start talking about content and coaching and confidence and all of those things, that content didn't take off. And when I say that, or if you've ever heard this saying where like you teach people how to treat you, it's the same thing with platforms. It's the same thing with your audience. You teach people how to treat you or how to respond to you. So the fact that I literally like for a year didn't really create much content around creating content, and I just tried to jump in with it, it didn't take off. And you know, I actually tried for a whole year to get that content to take off, and it didn't. And so a couple months ago, I decided like, okay, I am going to just start a new TikTok. I'm going to leave that TikTok where it was at. I was at like 7,500 followers. And I am just going to create a new TikTok account where it is niched down and it is focused on what I do as a coach. And that account has done great. The growth of that has been really slow, but a couple months ago, whenever I was like super sick, I got the flu, I consumed so much TikTok and I started to really crave and miss creating lifestyle content on TikTok. So I was like, okay, I don't want to start creating lifestyle content on my content account, but I already have this account, so why not start creating it? And I just started having fun with it again. And I just started like, the one thing that I did do, and I think that this is important, if you want to create lifestyle content on TikTok, you still should have some kind of theme and you still should kind of like micro down your content in a certain way. So what I decided to do was I created one hook that I use on almost every single video. In fact, I didn't really create another video without that hook for a couple weeks. Like I randomly recently started throwing in other things that don't have the same hook, but for the most part, like 99% of the time I use the same hook, even though the content is about different things. So the hook that I use is, hi, I'm curious. And then I go on to share an opinion, a thought, or something that I do and see if other people can relate to it. And it's never the same. Like last night I talked about the nails that I did with the super glue, with the Loctite super glue. And this morning I talked about my workout. And then this morning I also talked about something that a lot of moms say. And I'm just like, no expectations, totally having fun over there. And what I've noticed is it really helps me to create other content. So like creating content is a form of creativity for me. So I'm so glad that like I broke my own rules and allowed myself to do this. I feel like on here and on Facebook, I already kind of do a good job about like mixing the two together. And so it wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to separate on all accounts, but I knew it was something I had to separate over there. And so far it's like working and I'm having fun doing it. I have, like I said, no expectations of my lifestyle content. If something takes off, that's great. If it doesn't, it is what it is. Like I'm just doing it to have fun. And I think that that is something that is really important too, is oftentimes we get so caught up in creating content that we forget to like have fun in our life. We forget to like go out and live our life. We forget that like what cultivates our creativity is not sitting down and forcing yourself to create content. Like cultivating creativity and having fun is important for your content creation, for your business. So like maybe creating content isn't fun for you, and so that wouldn't be a way for you to cultivate creativity. But maybe writing, like maybe you like to write poems or you like to write short stories or whatever it is, so you do more of that. And in fact, that actually will trigger creativity to help you create more content for your business that is like higher quality, great content. Or maybe it's like going off and doing something that maybe you want to go salsa dancing, or you want to go learn to pole dance, or you want to go do something that is completely outside of your business that you have no expectations for, that maybe you don't even have any goals around. You just want to get out there and like try something new. That is another thing. Well, since we have this, we'll use it. I just sprayed that directly into my mouth. That is disgusting. That is another thing that I have found is trying new things has ultimately really, really helped me to create more content in my business, because there's nothing like that beginner energy. There is nothing in this world that will bring that kind of energy and vibe as being a beginner at something. And going through this process of prepping for my first bikini bodybuilding competition, it has been very much beginner energy. It has been exciting and fun and learning about myself and connecting with myself. And it has been frustrating and making me want to cry at times. But it has helped me to grow in my business so much more. Once we get to a point where like things come second nature to us, like for me, creating content is second nature to me, Like I don't have that new exciting beginner energy like I did in the past. And so I have to find ways outside of my business to create that new and exciting energy. Like I remember when I first started, I wonder if my curling iron will reach over here and I could curl while I talk, or we'll just have to go stand up. But I remember when I first started showing up on social media in 2011 and I first started my first online business, I loved it. Like that beginner energy was like, they say like ignorance on fire, and I was having so much fun, and I was creating like 10 to 12 posts a day. Like it was insane. Were those quality posts? Probably not, but I was having fun, and that energy beat the algorithm every single time. I say that all the time. Like your energy will beat the algorithm every single time. But once you become like to where something is second nature, like creating content, you gotta create that energy in a different part of your life. And so maybe finding a new hobby, or sometimes even when it's something new in your business. Like I know for me, last year, like what is the year? It's 2023. So during 2021 and 2022, I really was a student in learning NLP and the subconscious mind and hypnotherapy and life coaching and all of those things. And that gave me beginner energy, and that showed off in my content too. But when my content started to fall flat, what I noticed was I'm not cultivating creativity outside of my business. I don't have something new that I'm focusing on. And like, it wasn't as fun. So now I have things that are outside of my business, or like next year I have this, I kind of decided, like this morning, actually, look at me just sharing shit, that next year my focus is definitely going to be, well, it's kind of my focus right now, but next year my focus is really like brand awareness, is like networking and getting out there and getting my name out there and really taking the time to lay that foundation. I'm kind of doing that right now too, but a huge focus I have at this moment is my prep. So that's kind of taking the back seat, but I really want that to be a huge part of my business next year. And then also I was like, what can I do that would be new? And although it won't be like super duper new, it's definitely going to be a journey and a process. But I really want to get serious about writing a book next year, my own book. So this year I co-authored one book, and I'm in the process of co-authoring my second book with the mastermind that I'm a part of. And that has been a really fun process, but it's only like 4,000 words, 5,000 words, where I get a couple pages and I'm just writing a chapter. Like I really want to write a full-blown book, and I can't decide. I haven't decided what that's going to be about yet. I have lots of ideas, and obviously like I've always wanted to really dive into sharing about my recovery with Adderall, but also like I feel like I have more to give to the world too, and more to share to the world, and maybe that will be part of the book, but maybe it won't be the whole book. I don't know. I just know that it always seemed like a huge daunting task to me, but now that I've kind of dipped my toes into the water and I have been a co-author twice this year, that I think it'll be time to write my own book. And that will help with the brand awareness. That will help with all of the things that I really want to grow, and that'll be important. So anyways, those are just kind of my riffs for the day. I know a lot of people probably are not on social. They're just like enjoying life and family and stuff, but I don't wait to get started on things. Like I started this, I was going to wait until July to start this little challenge that I'm doing that's like connecting back to my spirituality a little bit. I kind of got away from that. I do take time to myself every single day, but also there's some things that make me feel really good that I kind of quit doing, like Reiki and meditation and just kind of being mindful of certain things. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start this in July. And then I called myself out. I was like, why the fuck are you waiting to start? Like, just start now. And so I think I started like today is day 8 or day 7 of this little challenge, and it has really helped. So, I was looking at that piece of hair. Sometimes challenging yourself to do those things, to get back to to the things are good. Sometimes not having a challenge is good. Like for a long time, I used the Done app, and I would do like year-long challenges and stuff. And I would get to like a certain point where like things just became second nature. So it really wasn't a challenge anymore. And it was just like, I did it out of habit anyways. And so I kind of stopped like checking off boxes, but then sometimes you want to get back to it. So I don't know. There's always like seasons of life, right? You always go through different seasons of life, and you have to learn how to like roll with them and not be afraid of change. I used to be like so afraid of change, and now it's something that excites me so much. Like I love when the seasons change. I love when my kids get out of school and our schedule kind of changes up. And then I also love when they go back to school and our schedules change up again and they get a little bit more busy and there's a lot going on. And then I like when things slow down again. It's like learning to kind of surrender on that roller coaster ride of life is so important. I just got done reading The Untethered Soul, and that book was so freaking good. 2 books that have completely changed my life this year are Existential Kink and The Untethered Soul. Like I feel like you could read those books together and it will make like so much sense. I don't know. And also sometimes I believe that you read things when you absolutely need them. Because I have heard about Existential Kink for a really long time and I just never ordered the book. And finally I was like, all right, it's time. And like, I didn't want the book to end. It was so good. And then The Untethered Soul, I've had that book for years. I've tried to read it multiple times and have always just set it back down. But this time it stuck and it was so good. And I didn't want that book to end either. Good thing he has a lot of, I'm not drinking pee. That's like electrolytes, by the way. He has a lot of other content. Michael Singer, he has the Surrender Experiment, and then I got something on Audible. I don't think it's the Surrender Experiment, but it's something else. And then I also saw somebody share a podcast with Tony Robbins that he was on back in March. That's like 2 hours long that I'm just going to listen to. This is what I do. I just like immerse myself in something hyper-focused, if you will, for a little bit. And then when I'm done with it, I am done with it and I move on to the next thing. Like I don't create a bunch of drama around moving on or being done with something. Like it served its purpose and then we let it go away. And then maybe like I'll want to read the book again. Like there's been a lot of books that I have read multiple times. The Game of Life and How to Play It and The 4 Agreements, those 2 books, like I probably read once a year. I think it was in 2020, I read A Course in Miracles. I actually read the one that Pam Grout did, because I have the big black Course in Miracles book, but it was just like, I couldn't get into it. And I've been kind of feeling called to either reread the one from Pam or dive into the actual Course in Miracles. I kind of want to get the paperback though of it because the Course in Miracles book is like so big, but sometimes you have to go back to things because they will make more sense at a different time in your life. So anyways, that was definitely a rambling chat with a lot of topics, but sometimes that feels good too. Like the more you talk, the more you talk. The more you post, the more you post. That's been a huge theme lately too, is like, what are you like truly focusing on? Yesterday I posted on Facebook, like breakthroughs or breakdowns always lead to breakthroughs, but are you more focused on the breakdown or are you more focused on the breakthrough, right? Like, yeah, sometimes we need to sit in our shit and we need to feel the feelings. Like, don't bypass your feelings for sure. But like, are you so focused on the breakdown? Maybe you had something go on with another person and you're so focused on the conversation and who said what and what is the truth and blah, 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 and all of the things, when there's absolutely going to be no agreement on that conversation. And that person is going to think what they think and you're going to think what you think. And there's going to be no common ground. Like you cannot come to an agreement of what the actual truth is. And that's okay. There's always like 3 sides of the story, your side, my side, and the truth. We're probably not going to get to the truth together, but can I focus instead on what is the lesson? What is the breakthrough? What are we going to accomplish by getting through this and like not going backwards, instead of just day in and day out focusing on what the breakdown is? And I'm still guilty of doing this too, but I just try to catch myself a little bit more in it and be like, okay, like what is the lesson? What is the gift? What is the breakthrough? and how can I get there quicker, you know, and just kind of surrender to the rest of it. So, all right, that was my last piece of hair. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great 4th of July, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.